Hello YouTube, how you doing? Price Down Mall here. One more time with another Nibbi Carb installation. This time it's going to be installed on another X-Pro bike. This one is the Titan DLX, actually DLX. Okay, so I just wanted to show real quick here the part number on the Nibbi. If I'm not mistaken, this one should be exactly the same as the one I bought for the Templar. Same exact accessories. Basically, this one is a 30 millimeter also. Same choke. So it should go into this bike ideally the same way. So I just wanted to, this one, the only difference, before I forget, is that I'm actually going to increase the jet. And I'm going to make it the highest setting jet, the main jet that comes with this carb, which, if I'm not mistaken, is pretty much the same as the one I put on the Templar. The only other difference that I was able to tell, because this bike actually has a different motor, or at least it looks different. Okay, to remove this from here. It doesn't look exactly the same, even though it's a 5 gears, on this one 5 speed. Okay, but you can tell, I mean, it's interesting here. You see there's a mount right there that's not mounted to anything, which makes this motor kind of a universal thing. But anyways, before I deviate, this part number here is for the other piece that I actually have to get for the Nibbi carb, because as you can see here, you see it's got this section which my Templar doesn't have. It has a rubber boot right here that connects the carburetor to the motor, but this one has another section, and then the carb itself sits sideways, and then it goes into the airbox that's right in here. I'm still gonna remove the seat and the tank, which I'm going to do that. I'm not gonna show it on the video, considering this is just another carb install. But this part that I bought, as you can see, take it out of the bag. You see, this actually connects. It's actually like that. Yeah, looks like, okay, there you go. So just like that. So this will be connected to this. Okay. And then this section here connects to the carb. Okay. So hopefully this part fits. I bought it because this was the one recommended for the carb, and it seemed to like it was going to fit at the time. I'm not sure if it's going to be. This looks like this part actually goes here. If I can tell properly, which I can still plug in the carb in here, but since this is all new, this is making parts fit. I am not sure if it's going to fit. This is just a tryout. I just wanted to start up the video and see. Most likely I'll either have to buy more parts, or this was only like $10, which I can always use for something else. But we'll see if it fits. If it fits, you guys will see. If it doesn't fit, you guys will see anyway. But I will have to remove this from here first, and then show that on the video, and then continue it, okay? So I will show the part number again, just in case it does fit, that way you guys can buy that. And the carburetor, I know the carburetor will work, and then go from there. This is the X-Pro, so 2022 X-Pro Titan DLX model. And the motor, it's a 5-speed motor, like I mentioned, but in this particular case, the configuration for the carb and the boot and the way it fits is different. As you can see, he's got that turn in there, and he has the portion to put the screw, which is what I bought that boot for. We'll see if that's gonna fit. And if it does, hopefully it does, the video will be completed and you guys will hear it by the time that I'm done with this video today, okay? Other than that, let's get it going. So we're removing these for the panels. That's a number 5 Allen wrench. Okay. Now for the seat, we have one of these bolts on each side. They're number 10s. Yeah, number 10 millimeters. So that socket is necessary for one here, one on the other side, and it pops out. So these are, like I said, number 5 millimeter Allen. Okay, so let's continue. So tank removed, seat removed. These panels were moved forward. So as you can see, you got a couple of tie wraps here. That's one carburetor here. So basically we'll have to undo these two nuts, one on each side. Okay, and we don't have to worry about this because the other choke will go up and down. Okay, when we take this out, I'm actually gonna test the fit for the rubber section that goes in here that I bought for here to see what the fitment is, and if it works I will continue, and if not I'll point it out and stop and then get the one that's required if I need to do that, and then go from there. Okay, YouTube, so I was able to remove this section here, to remove the carb, and this thing here, it is not suitable for here, and the reason is that this rubber piece, even though it's meant for a carburetor to plug in here or to mount here, this is really meant to go against the engine, okay, like that, and then the carburetor, and then you can put a pot filter, I suppose, or another extension to the airbox, which is back here. I mean, like I said, this is more or less make it fit type of thing. Like I said, this was less than $10, I think. $10, $8. It wasn't really expensive. So what I'm going to do to make it fit, okay, and when you're watching this video, you could either do it that way or you could choose to find the one that actually it's actually shorter from here to here. It doesn't go directly mounted to the motor, which that is the description based on this part number, okay, and it will give you the dimensions from here to here on the whole thing. But what I'm going to do is that I'm going to see, if you see this, you see how the holes do not align, okay? So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to drill, I'm going to align it, which it is now, and I'm going to drill the holes to basically put this through there, and then put this back, okay, the way it goes, which goes like that, okay, and then that rubber piece is gonna rest, like that, and that way I'll be able to plug in the carburetor here. This section here is not super thick, and the carburetor basically goes in all the way, so it allows me to adjust a little bit. So this will be just fine, and then it will fall, it will keep everything together, and I'll be able to use the airbox, which is really what I would like to do. I don't want to omit it. I am going to increase the jet size to the highest one, so I'm not going to use the default like I used on the Templar. So I'm just going to go through the box and get the highest one and then install it. And I know it's going to work because the Templar seems to be working. I actually think that the Templar is actually running maybe a little lean, and once I change the filter is going to lean out even more. So putting the highest setting main should be okay on this one. And even if I have to drop the octane, on the gasoline to 87, it should still run okay. All right, so other than that, I'm just gonna keep going. I'm gonna drill that hole on this thing. As you can see, I'll just have to line it up here like that, and then I'm just gonna drill the hole with a drill bit, and we'll see what happens. Okay, thank you guys. Okay, YouTube, so retrofitted this into this metal piece. As you can see, it's a little crooked there, which should not really be a big deal. Chinese bike, so it should run perfect. That's the new engineering. Okay, but I will probably end up buying the piece that goes in there, but for now, for the testing, doesn't seem like it's gonna be a leak in there. There's no light going through, so I'm satisfied, at least for this one. And the carburetor go in here pretty nicely and snug. So I got the clamp here that I'm going to put in here first. Okay, those Allen bolts, which I actually found countersunk ones to put in there, but you see how flat that goes in there, so it's not going to interfere. They're not going to interfere here at all. So what we're going to do is that we're going to install the carb first, then put it through here, okay, that whole thing, and then we're going to end up placing that where it belongs, right there, with the carburetor already in its place. Okay, and that should ideally do the trick. One thing I did to the carburetor is that we took the 128 main jet and we took it up to the 130 main jet. This particular bike, unlike the Templar, mine has a paper filter. This one has a foam filter, and as you can see, I put the I'll use Bel-Ray, so I put Bel-Ray filter oil in here, which should really be somewhat of a high flow type of thing. Still pretty new. It's not dirty or anything, so that was part of the reason why we went up on the jet to the 130, which is the maximum jet that came with the kit. I'm thinking it's going to be either running slightly rich, which I can actually adjust with the air fuel mixture needle that's on the side of the carburetor next to the idle needle, so that there should be enough adjustment there to make the bike work and be reasonably stable and running correctly. Okay, so I'm actually going to be removing that portion there in a moment to put the correct one from the carburetor and continue the video. Thank you guys. Okay, YouTube, press them all back. So just wanted to show the fit on the Nibbi on the original box. One thing to notice is that the intake for the carb, it's slightly bigger than the, this portion is larger. Okay, the intake, I wouldn't say it's a true 30. The other one says PC 30. This one says 30 on the side, PN 30 I think it is. But this one, the intake, it has a larger diameter. Okay, now this is pliable enough to where you could actually press it in place, and then this right here, you see how it lines up. Okay, PC 130 on the other one. So basically this will line up perfectly there. This actually lined up and went flush here as expected from before. Now this is flush here, so there's not going to be any leaks. One thing that you could do is put a little bit of RTV. I didn't think it was necessary because there's a ring on the inside that sits against the metal, and that ring creates the seal between this part and this. Even though it's a little bent inside and It looks like it's oval, like I showed previously, but it seemed like it was just fine there and flush, and there's not going to be any leakage. The heat will take care of the rest. This will mold with the heat, okay? The only part that I was concerned about was this, and it fit perfectly. What I did is that we put a little bit of clean motor oil around the rim on the inside. Hardly put anything on the carb, okay? And it just went right in, okay? It takes two people to do it, but it went right in. It's flush, and this is gonna be, it looks like it's gonna work really, really nice. So once we get to that point, I believe that we'll be able to start the bike and go from there on this Nibbi, okay? I can't wait to hear the bike and get it started. But anyways, it has the 130 jet, okay, just in case some of you didn't catch that. It has the 130 jet instead of the 128, which is the default from the factory. Okay, so let's continue. So clearance so far, pretty good. Okay, so that's pretty straight there. Also, this will fit right there with the 2 bolts, no issues. Also there, no cable stock. So far so good. Okay, YouTube, price on the ball back. So able to put this thing right in there. You can see it looks nice and pretty. Got a new one of these clamps, a longer one. The other one was too short. So the front went in quite well, no problem. Okay, the same way it came out. This is like nicely adjustable. All the defaults with the exception of the main jet, which was changed to the 130. Okay, I put a new hose from here to there's a solenoid in the front, which it looks like it's just part of a circuit, not connected to anything, but these bikes, they're mainly like that. I got 2 hoses like that on this bike. Everything was tight. Everything seemed to be seated properly, no trouble. This was actually fairly easy to put back in there. Everything lined up, no gaps, no excessive pressure against the airbox. Okay, same original air filter. All the plastics came back as original, nice and tight, lined up properly. Okay, the throttle seems to be nicely loose, like it should be. So that means the slide on the carb, it's moving freely, nicely. Okay, like I said, all of this stuff right here, the original, you can see it there. Now I left the air fuel mixture the same. I did not change that as of right now, so it's still the original. Mine for the Templar came in with 2 turns out, from 2 to 2.5 turns out. Okay, so that's the way they come in from the factory with the 128. This one again with the 130. So we're gonna get it started for the first time. Just gonna put the fuel through, checking for leaks. I did have to remove the bolt to put the other jet, and this carburetor doesn't have the screw on the bottom, okay, to be able to remove the main jet from the bottom of the carb. So you do have to remove the bowl cover here to remove the main jet to put the new one. So you have to do that first. This was seated properly here, hand tight, wasn't really tightened with a wrench or anything. So let's get this bike started and go from there and see how it idles. So basically I got the bike started. It got accelerated a little bit, and I didn't realize that some of these adjustments were set to the other carb, to the original. So was this one. So This one was way out. So what we did is that we loosened this up. We brought it in. I actually took the idle pretty much all the way down, and it was still accelerated. So we're gonna start it again to see where we're at. Okay, so it looks like that actually did it. So it looks like we had. Just gonna change the idle here a little bit. There you go. So yeah, just be sure that you do that you take these adjustments all the way down before starting it, at least halfway. I mean, this one looking at maybe half an inch here, and then the idle, you'll be able to tell. You see how I'm moving it back and nothing's happening. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go in. When I hear it go up, I'll stop. Okay, you see? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what I'm going to do is that actually feels pretty firm. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to lower this even more. Okay, so I'm going to lower it. I moved it maybe, let's see. As you can see there, maybe 1/4 of an inch. So basically what I'm doing is that I don't want to adjust the idle here. I want to adjust it in the needle, in the carb. So I'm bringing that in, and you guys heard it, that it basically, the bike stalled. So I'm going to increase the idle now. Here, 1, 2, 3. That's 3 out of the 5 I've turned down, and see how we're at, how we're doing now. So let's see. That's 5. Okay, so now you see how it allows me. It allows me an adjustment here. Okay, so I'm not even gonna bring this one further down, and you guys get the drift on this. So I want to be able to adjust my idle and the carb, not by having to undo this thing here or adjust that there. That's actually, there's nothing, hardly any. Okay, there's absolutely hardly any adjustment here now. But I have adjustment here, which will allow me to graduate, you see? Before it didn't allow me to do that. So just be sure your adjustments, the fine one and that one, this one here behind the mirror, this one, they're basically all the way down almost. This one all the way down, and this one maybe leave like 1/4 of an inch or whatever in there, and then adjust it here. And wow, no choke, amazing. So I would say, man, this Nibbi cars, absolutely unbelievable for $90. So I'm gonna tighten this up, take it for a ride, and give the final verdict on this one. Another engine, 130 main jet, okay, which obviously most likely I'll do that with the Templar at a later time, but for now that's a proven setup. I think left the needle alone, didn't move it, so we'll see how this setup works in the next couple of days. And the next thing I'll be doing will be the tires and the sprockets. This chain is not 520, It's a thinner chain, so I still have to find the sprockets, which I'll do another video and go from there. But anyways, let me not deviate and tighten this up and continue. I consider that to be pretty darn good compared to before. Wow, sun is shining big time here in Florida. That's all right. It's gonna come right back. Nice. So there you have it, guys. Another Nibbi Carb 2022 X-Pro Titan DLX. So I believe that I would say that's actually a winner. So let's see. Nice. Idle's good. Looks good. And good rider. Awesome. So I would say super. I like it. So no air fuel mixture. Yep. Change. So yep. I guess we'll let it settle. This bike only has 50 miles, 60 miles. So I guess once we can get it tuned in, I suppose we'll go out to the field, to the forest, and shoot another video from there. Awesome. Thank you, guys.